Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Emily. I'm the marketing assistant here at Nexodus, and joining me today is Olivia, our software training lead. Today, we're very excited to be giving you a first look at the updated Passport app. We'll be running you through what's changed and walk you through some of the new features. We'll then finish off with a Q&A where we'll answer some of your questions at the end. Before we get started, I'm just going to run through a few housekeeping things. This webinar will run for roughly 30 minutes, including time for questions at the end. If you have any questions throughout the session, please do feel free to drop it in the Q&A section, which you'll find in the toolbar at the bottom. We do also have some moderators who will be answering some questions throughout, so we will also be answering some live at the end as well. Final thing, this session is being recorded and will automatically be sent to all registrants. It will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel tomorrow. So if there's anything you need to revisit or if you want who's interested, it will be there. All right, before we dive into the Passport content, it's worth just quickly explaining the difference between our standard Passport app and the white label version, as we know this is quite a common question. So starting off with the Passport app, this is the Nexodus member app that's available to all customers and is included in the standard Nexodus subscription free of charge. The white label app, on the other hand, includes everything that's available in Passport, but it's published as your own branded app in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. So that means members will download an app with your company name and branding rather than the Nexodus Passport app. The white label version also includes door access functionality for supported access control systems. But aside from those branding and access control differences, both apps pretty much share the same core functionality. But hopefully that gives everyone a little bit of a better understanding between the two. Okay, before we jump into the demo, let's take a quick look at what's new in Passport and why we've rebuilt it. One of the biggest changes in Passport is that it's been rebuilt to align with the new members portal that we just launched a few months ago. So any changes that you make in the editor of the members portal will automatically be reflected in Passport. This will create a much more consistent experience for your members across any device, whether that's desktop or mobile. Some other improvements you'll notice include a smoother sign-in experience with biometric login, QR authentication, and secure deep links, which will sign members straight into your app. We've also introduced home screen widgets, so members can quickly log into other companion apps that we offer, such as Nextboard or Nexio. And for anyone using access control, don't worry, although the app has been rebuilt, the way members access your space hasn't changed. Of course, it's much easier to see these updates in action. So with that, I'll hand over to Olivia.
Thanks, Emily. I'm just going to share my phone now so you guys can take a look at the Passport app in action. Perfect. Okay. So like Emily said, this is the new kind of experience for customers. It's a new UI. A lot of the flows are still the same, but they just have been enhanced a fair bit so that they look a lot better and it runs a bit smoother for the members. So I'm demoing on an iPhone and I'm using the standard Passport app. So let's take a look at how you can kind of log in. So let's log in as this fake customer. And then we see this page here, which allows the member to select which location they're at. So if they have access to multiple locations within your site, then they'll see the screen. If you only have one location in your site, then this step will be skipped entirely. If you're using the white label app, this screen won't be shown either. So I'm just going to select my main space here. If the customer selects the wrong space, it doesn't matter. They can easily change spaces, and I'll show you that in a second once I've finished the login process. So you can see there, logging in, it's pretty straightforward. So to swap locations, if it's relevant, the customer can just select here, and you can see that I have those three options there as well. but I'm going to stay on this site. In terms of logging in, Emily mentioned the biometrics. So I didn't do the biometrics today because obviously I was showing you the manual login process, but biometrics, so that's Face ID, fingerprint, that kind of stuff. If the member is required to log in, then they'll just be prompted to do the Face ID or the fingerprint, just like you normally would with any other kind of Face ID fingerprint login on your phone. It's not really something I can easily demo since I've just logged into the space, but it's pretty straightforward. So that's the logging in process. Let's take a look at this dashboard. So this is where the customers land when they first log into the Passport app. Now, this space that I have set up here, it is just the default template that we have in the latest members portal. So what is on the members portal is a reflection into the Passport app. So they look exactly the same. So your dashboard may look a little bit different to mine if you've customized it in that like drag and drop editor, but I've just used a standard template and just kind of changed the colors. So from the dashboard, a member can place a booking really quickly. They can see any of their upcoming activities. So it could be like meeting rooms. If they had any events booked, they could see that there. If they're part of a team, they can also see their team members here and their bookings. You can easily toggle that off and you can see that it changes. You've also got your upcoming bookings. So again, you can see anything that you've booked there. Then we have some suggested bookings. I'm going to touch on this one in a second, so I'm not going to go into that right now. They could see like featured events, and then you could see the discussion boards, anything that's happening. Again, your dashboard might be set up a little bit different to mine, but there is a lot that they can do from this dashboard. The navigation is pretty straightforward. It's very similar to the old one. It's just enhanced and it reflects the members portal a lot more now than it previously did. Now, we have this option at the top called the member QR. This is what Emily touched on before, but it's basically a QR code that a member can use to easily log into like Nextboard or Nextio, and you can actually add that as a widget to your phone. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do that on the iOS. I'm certain it's probably very similar on Android, but it's really straightforward. You can just add the widget. You can search for passport and add the widget there. And you can see that I've just added it to my phone, and then I can just easily, if I had Nextboard near me and I needed to log in, I could just quickly show that icon. But back into the app, we have this feature. It's relatively new. I think it came out in the last couple of weeks, and it is for the latest members portal version and also this Passport app, is private messaging. So at the top, you can see here, if we click into the private messages, you can see any messages you have from members in the same space as you, and you can send new ones. You could send it to everybody, or you could select to send it to certain people. Yeah, that's the kind of dashboard. So let's take a look at how like somebody could place a booking, because this is quite a common flow on the Passport app. There's a few ways you can kind of navigate to the booking screen. You have through the quick actions, you have it through the bottom menu bar as well, or there is also the suggested bookings. So this is a feature that is new to the members portal, the latest version, and also Passport. So you can see here we have the suggested bookings. Now this is bookings that aren't confirmed at all. Basically, the system has recognized that this customer books, say at 2 to 3 p.m. every Monday, for example, and they've done that over the last 8 weeks consistently. So the system's like, oh, okay, well, maybe actually they want to do this again for the following week. So it suggests these bookings. So as a member, I can very quickly just hit confirm, and then I can click confirm the booking, and there we go. I've confirmed it. Now it's actually locked in, and that resource has been booked out. So that's the suggested bookings, very quick and easy to confirm those ones. Let's take a look at actually placing a kind of like a standard booking, I guess we could call it. So if we go to bookings on the bottom menu, you can see here that I've got hot desks and meeting rooms set up. So if I select meeting rooms, for example, these are just the different resources that I have set up in my space. And then we can see here when we want to book to and from, it's just defaulted to the time zone that I have this space set up to. But you can change that there. And then you have the list here of all of the different resources available. Now there's this cool new feature, which you can see that little Thunderbolt icon. That's an instant booking. Again, only available on the latest version of the Members Portal and Passport app, where it basically gives the user the option to kind of skip the booking listing. So you kind of don't see the next booking page, which we'll show you in a second. It's a very quick and easy way to just place a booking, kind of like those suggested ones. So I could click confirm, and there we go, it's booked. But if we wanted to place kind of a booking through the booking screen, we can click book now. And it's just going to give us a few additional bits of information. So we can see all of the resource details there. We can see any of the amenities. We could select, if we're part of a team, to book it for somebody else. I'm going to just book for my customer though. You could add any guests, any booking notes, etc. So that flow hasn't really changed too much. It just looks a lot nicer on the app now as well. And then the next step is confirming and like placing it and putting the payment through. This step might vary a little bit depending on what your space settings are. So mine doesn't require upfront payment. So that's why I can just place the booking here. And there we go, it's confirmed. We'll see the payment step in a second. But from the dashboard, we go back there, we can now see all of these bookings that I've just placed in here. Where are we? You can see them here. But another way that a user can kind of view all of their bookings is if they go here and then click bookings. And then you can see all of your upcoming bookings. You could filter it to your past bookings if you really wanted to see them as well. And you can modify them from there if they have the appropriate permissions. Cool, that's bookings. So now that bookings are done, let's take a look at another common flow, which is purchasing memberships or plans. So again, there's a few different ways to do this. I'm going to show you from the More Actions menu and then Memberships. Let's take a look at private offices. So again, you can select any plan type that you have there. You could select all if you wanted to, or filter it down to the different levels. You can see here I've got a dedicated desk one and I've got this option to join the plan. But if I scroll down, I have this private office set up to be inquire only. Again, this is a new feature with the latest Members Portal version and also this Passport app, where basically you can allow your members to submit kind of an inquiry for this plan, and then you as an admin can view the proposal on the admin panel, and then you can send the proposal off to the customer, and then they can accept it, and then that's when they would get access to that plan. So if I click inquire here, just to show you guys, they simply fill in their details, the start date, and then they would hit next and continue. But I don't want to do that one today. So let's go back one step and take a look at, let's do a hot desk plan because this customer doesn't have one. Here we can select different start dates. So let's do the first of the month, and then we can click join this plan. Now, this add-on step in the sign up flow very much depends on your space settings and whether you've got this enabled. You can enable or disable this from admin panel settings, and then I think it's sign up and checkout, and then the form section. But I'm just going to skip this one today because I don't think we need any add-ons. If it's going to load for me. Let's add one just because it's having a wee think. Okay. One moment, let me try refresh this. This always happens as soon as I start demoing. Things slow down a lot. Let's just restart that app and try that one again. Here we go. Okay, so let's try that one again. Let's see if it's going to work. It just only happens on my phone because I'm swapping between lots of different accounts all the time. So let's try select this one again. If it wants to work for me. No, let's try a different plan. Then let's go the dedicated desk because this one was working earlier. Here we go. It's having a nice long think about it, isn't it? Okay, that's fine. Let's jump to a different section. Let's go away from the plans and let's go into the next section, which is going to be taking a look at paying an invoice. So you can see here on the dashboard, I have an option in the pending actions to show any kind of unpaid invoices. So customers are really prompted as soon as they kind of log in to see these unpaid invoices and make the payment, which obviously is great for you guys because you want the payment for your services. So they can either click the pending action tile there, or they can go into that top right hand menu and click invoices. And then they can see all of their unpaid invoices by default. They can choose to select the paid one and filter through any of their paid invoices. If the customer has any saved card details, which this one does, they can simply hit pay. And then you can see here, I'm taken to the payment screen. If I wanted to change the payment details, I could click the little pencil icon, but I'm not going to today. I'm just going to hit submit payment. It's having a long think about things today. There we go. Okay, cool. So there we go. That's paying an invoice. It's pretty straightforward. The payment process on plans or purchasing a product is very similar to that screen that we've just seen on the paying an invoice. Now, a lot of you have questions on the access control integrations with the white label. So this is a standard app that I'm showing you now. So what I've done is I've recorded a video in a white label app, which is our HQ one that we use here, of how a customer would kind of unlock a door through the app. Again, as Emily mentioned at the start, this hasn't changed at all. It's really just refined. We've done some back end work to make it a little bit quicker. The one that I have enabled here is Salto. So let's just take a quick look at this recording and you can see how easy it is. So I logged in, I clicked unlocked doors, and then I get this pop-up. It's basically verifying that I have the appropriate access, and then it's connecting to the lock. And then you can see there it was successful, and then you can just unlock the lock. Can't show you that live because I'm too far away from the locks in the office, unfortunately. But hopefully you can see the process hasn't really changed that much for the access control systems. So let's take a look. Let's jump back into Passport and let's take a look at actually some of the key things that you guys have been asking us questions on with this whole update is like, what do we need to do as admins of spaces? Is there anything we need to do, etc.? So what I want to reiterate here is that some of the features available that I've kind of touched on today, so like the suggested bookings, the editing the dashboard, etc., that's only available for the kind of latest members portal version customers. So if you've chosen to migrate to that latest one. And once you make a change in the members portal drag and drop editor, it's available instantly in the Passport app. When I say instantly, give it a few seconds for it to save and then push it across to the Passport app. So what do you need to do? Let's stop sharing my phone and jump onto my laptop. If we share the screen here. So what do we need to do? If you're already on the latest version of the members portal, I'll show you what that looks like from here. You can see that you're running the latest version. There's nothing you really need to do at all. All of your custom pages you've created on the members portal, drag and drop editor, are visible on the Passport app. It's the same experience whether your customers are using the members portal or the Passport app. If you aren't running the latest version of the members portal, obviously we'd recommend migrating to that latest version of the members portal so you can make the most of those new features like the suggested bookings and many other things. But if you do want to upgrade and like migrate yourself, then it's pretty straightforward. You'll see a section here in the settings website in the admin panel where you can migrate. If you don't have any custom domains, it takes a couple minutes. It's not long at all. If you have a custom domain, it's a little bit of a longer process. It could take up to 30 minutes. It really depends how long it takes to kind of check that domain. But if you haven't migrated and you're not going to migrate in the next few weeks, then what I'd recommend doing is recreating your custom pages in the editor in the preview mode. So what you can do is you can actually access a preview of the portal here. I've already opened it in another tab just to save time and save me having to logging in. But as an admin, you need to make sure you have a customer record associated with your account. So I've done this here, and then you can click Page Editor. And then this is that drag and drop editor. So if you haven't seen it, this is kind of a brief look at it. And you have the option down the very bottom to create a new page. So it's quite zoomed out, but it's down here, new page. So if I click new page, you can see here I'm given the option to use a template, or you can just create it from scratch. So I'm just going to click create it from scratch. I'm not going to create anything very pretty, but then you go to the blocks section here. And then this is where you'd want to add any of your layouts. So you could add like a container, and then you go in and add any of your components. So that could be adding an image, it could be adding a button. The options are kind of a little bit endless. There's so many different ones here. You can see, you can take different elements from different pages. And then that's how you'd create your custom page. And then what you'd want to do is once you've created the custom page, obviously you'd probably put a little bit more than I have. You'd put the title here, and then you click publish changes. So to reiterate, if you aren't on the latest version of the members portal, you do need to recreate your custom pages so they are available on the latest version of the Passport app. We've got heaps of webinars and heaps of documentation on how to actually use this drag and drop editor, so I don't want to take up too much time with that today. The last thing I very quickly want to touch on is the release timelines for this. So the standard Passport app, which is what I was showing you before, that has already begun release. So it began on Monday last week, so on the 17th of August. And it's a phase release. So the App Store and the Google Play Store are slowly releasing it just so we can monitor things, make sure everything's going smoothly, no big errors. So you will see that in the next month or so. If you've got automated updates on your phone, then you may already have that new app on your phone. If not, you can try going into your app store and manually downloading the app. Now, white labels, they will start release in mid-September. I don't know the official date for that one, but it is mid-September, and Emily and the other marketing team members will be sending out some comms kind of closer to the date to let you know if you're a white label app customer when your app is going to be released as well. So with that being said, let's jump into the Q&A section.
Thanks, Olivia. All right, let's jump into the Q&A. I think we've already had some great questions coming through. The first question is it possible to make the dashboard the default landing page on the web version to match the app? I can take this one. The answer to that is yes, it is possible to do this by using the editor. You can go to the home page and update the redirect URL. All right, the next question. Can we turn off suggested bookings settings? I can take this one as well. The answer to that is yes, you can do this via the drag and drop editor, visibility settings for the dashboard page. All right, I might throw this next one to you, Olivia. Can you add custom code to a page like on the V4 editor?
Not in the same way that you could previously. You can't really add custom code into the drag and drop editor, but you can embed iframes or scripts. You can also embed like what we're calling the embeddable widget, so parts of the members portal into your own marketing site. Again, we have heaps of documentation on that one, on how to add like scripts and iframes. You may not have seen because I was very quickly touching on that editor, but it's in the components list. You can just see that iframe or script option.
Cool. Next question we've got is, can we choose which sections are shown on mobile version? We might want to hide them for simplicity. I can take this one. This is currently possible via CSS, but please do contact our team at support@nexodus.com for more details. Next question. Do the Passport app and Members Portal have to mirror one another, or can we choose to display different layouts/pages in each? I might give that to you, Olivia.
Yeah, so that's quite similar to the question just before. Yes, they have to mirror each other. With that being said, you can kind of use custom CSS to display certain pages just on the Members Portal, for example, or just on the Passport app.
Cool. I think we might have time for one more. Can we get access to the source code so we can customize? I might give that one to you, Olivia.
Yeah, yeah, I can take that one. So you can do a lot of customizations through that drag and drop editor, which I briefly showed you on the members portal. You can also use style CSS in the web template editor to kind of customize it a little bit more. But if you are interested in purchasing the source code for the app, then do reach out to our support team. Unfortunately, it's not something we can give you a straight up answer and give you all the details here. You do need to contact them and then they can give you a full rundown of everything. Yeah, so contact the support team basically for that one.
Great. I think that's all the questions that we've gotten. Um, yeah, I think that wraps up the Q&A. Thank you everyone for sending in your questions. We do hope today's session has given you a bit of a better understanding of what's changed. But as a reminder, we will be sending out the recording after the webinar. So if you need to revisit anything, it will be on our YouTube channel. And if you do have any additional questions after today, please contact our team at support@nexus.com. They'll be more than happy to help. But thank you again for joining us and have a great rest of your day. Bye.